Hey everyone, this is Rob Poole from IndieHorror.tv. This is the state of the channel address that I've been talking about forever, and there's a reason I wanted to do this. First, I'm going to be in the chat room answering questions, so this is not actually being recorded live. I'll give you that in a second, but mainly I wanted to talk to everybody about all the really amazing things that are happening. So the state of the channel is really more so a setup for announcements and really interesting things that we wanted to share here on IndieHorror.tv. So, to give you a real quick reason why we're not doing this video chat live, we're still working out the kinks on being able to do video in which the camera is actually able to record through our streaming broadcast software. We use Xstream or XSplit streaming software right now. The problem with this is that it seems like it takes over our camera. So if we had a Skype call, I could never be on to video-wise be able to. I'm not shown, and you can't hear me asking any questions. My audio doesn't even work. So I tried the camera part of it to see if that would work, and all it does is make everything either mute or echo to the point where you can't make it out. That is still going to be worked on, and that is the main reason why you have not seen us go and do the horror experiences and the Rob Poole's Horror Brawl show, because both of those require us to be able to do on-site video as we're doing the broadcast. As each of those has an element in which we're going to need to be recorded and heard, and so that isn't a big problem with a director's chat where they are basically brought into a Skype call and they're the only source of audio. I'm not really necessary. I'm not an interviewer per se, and all the questions come through the chat room, so that's fine. But for right now, this has been a small kink that we've been working on. The plan is to try to get it figured out as quickly as possible, and then when we can make some announcements on both of those fronts, I would like to get the Horror Brawl started as quickly as possible. I have a lot of really great directors lined up for it. It's not something that we want to kind of wait on. So that's all the negative stuff. That little tiny tidbit is the only negative statement that we had to say. Recently, I've kind of been reflecting a little bit on the channel, and I think people get afraid when you start reflecting. The automatic assumption is that somehow you're going to end the channel, or that some bad news is coming down around the corner when you start doing that. But really, I just wanted to point out we have done some amazing, amazing things. For a low budget to almost no budget basic streaming channel that started as nothing. We started this up. The idea was formulated in September at Horror Hound Weekend in Indianapolis of 2012. I had kind of talked to some different directors that, my personal thing is that I like to go to these conventions for the nostalgia, but I end up not spending my time around the big celebrities and stuff like that. You get that really initial, quick handshake, autograph, picture, or whatever, but that's kind of the extent of the time you usually get with a lot of the celebrities. And that's not really why I go. I end up going for the people at the tables and the booths in the vendor rooms. I like to go and meet other horror fans. I think that's a lot of fun. But I just find myself in those vendor rooms 90% of my time at these conventions. And a lot of the times it's at an indie horror movie filmmaker's table. And I find that they're the most interesting people. You're infected by their passion to what their art is. I mean, they a lot of times are putting themselves in the poorhouse. I know one of the directors that we've had on this channel, a good friend of mine, has had, he basically had to sell his business to finance the film, and, with the promotion of it, going out to as many places as he can to do that costs money. So, he works part-time. He was not, as far as I'm aware, working full-time anywhere, and doing this at the same time. So he's been living on people's, friends' couches. He's been dumpster diving for food and stuff. Now, that to me is something that you cannot capture people that are film buffs, a lot of times they love the films, they can quote films, they got them on the tip of their tongue. If a scenario in real life comes up, they remember it through film. But a lot of those films were made with really huge budgets, and the amount of sacrifice that was involved was completely minimal compared to what an independent film was made from. No money to very little money. If any money that was scrounged up was usually by personal sacrifice of the filmmakers themselves. They had to take time off their job, which probably put their job in peril. They had to spend a considerable amount of time writing, directing this thing, getting the casting in place, scouting for locations. They do it all by themselves. They don't have, 15 people doing all of these tasks for them. A lot of times, an independent horror filmmaker is making a movie on a budget of $500 to $5,000, and there might be some that do better than that, but for the most part, we're talking a very small range of money to try to stretch as far as they can. I mean, the filmmaker becomes the caterer. The filmmaker becomes, the casting agent. The filmmaker becomes the cinematographer, the editor. All these pieces of the puzzle that Hollywood usually has, that we all think of as movie fans. Independent filmmakers do that all by themselves. So to me, that is incredible. As some of you know, I have a background. We did, backyard / I guess you could say, independent wrestling for years. Not years. I started when I was 12 years old and did it and worked this group all the way until about 2005. So from 1990 to 2005 is a long time. But we every week would go out there and kill ourselves without a ring because we had a passion for it. We didn't have a ring because we didn't have money. We were the poor kids in the neighborhood, but we all loved wrestling. So we did we for the longest time did it wrong, and then eventually we're trained enough to do it right. But we would do whatever it took to go out and wrestle a show, and that meant wrestling on ice in the winter, on dirt and hard grass in the summer, and eventually we'd put out like carpet remnants that we found by the trash and give ourselves a real thin layer so that it wasn't as hard, but just mostly for appearance, so you could tell the square that we were wrestling in was actually a ring. And so for the most part, we wrestled on everything you could think of. Concretes. We put that carpet layer on, in a pizza place, and wrestled on basically concrete. And a lot of the work that was involved with that was all done by me. So I was scripting shows, and I was really good at, I think, scripting plausible shows. We put together our television, a website. So we had a weekly television show for a little while that ran on Oshkosh Channel 10. Not very long, but long enough. We had an online show that we put together that ran from 2003. This is pre-YouTube, so we were paying for all the bandwidth ourselves and killing ourselves on overruns. We had, we had our first website in 1995. So, we really dedicated ourselves to doing this. And myself, because being the person that ran it and really cared about it the most, just kept dumping all of my money, energy, effort, passion into it. At the end of the experience, I always wondered, was it worth it? I really loved what I was doing, but, the audience out there is very slim for such a thing. And I felt like you never knew if you were really reaching that end goal of entertaining people. And I feel, in a way, a very strong kinship towards horror filmmakers because of that. And I've really always, so that, maybe this is part of a mission statement to kind of point out why we do what we do. Why do we do indie horror TV? There's no benefit for us. Let's put it this way. I make no money on this. In fact, I've spent hundreds of dollars, if not almost $1,000, actually more than $1,000, in paying for promotional T-shirts and flyers, paying for Google ads, Bing ads, Yahoo ads, Facebook ads, and money that we've also put towards other films that I think, not just because they give IndieHorror.tv the right kind of exposure, but because we believe in what we're doing, and I feel like that's a very beneficial thing. We've spent several, $300 some dollars plus right now, and I'm being transparent with everybody, but over $300 on helping sponsor the Three Corpse Circus Film Festival, short film festival, that's coming up in September in Ann Arbor. So I haven't made anything out of this. I don't know if I plan to ever make anything out of this. The point being, we do the channel for the love of independent horror, and you can see why I would feel that way, why I feel that way towards independent filmmakers. So let me just start off the entire state of the channel with this one massive statement. I love independent horror, and I love independent horror filmmakers, and you guys keep doing what you're doing, and you'll always have a home on this channel. So I wanted to say that and get that out of the way, because it's really the big open statement about what we are, what we do. So I guess with that, I'm going to go really quickly kind of bounce through some announcements that we have, because I did promise this was going to be one of those big announcement nights. So work with me here. I'm going to go through as many of these as in some sort of orderly fashion as I can. First, we have one thing ongoing. I gotta bring it up again. I'm going to bring it up at every turn. We have a 90-day horror short film competition. Horror short film competition that is underway. Started June 15th and runs through September 15th, and then the winner of the competition will be seen at the Three Corps Circus Short Film Festival here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So there's a lot of benefit to being in it. Check out our website, indiehorror.tv, or on Facebook, where we've got it pinned up. There's only two requirements, and that's number one, you have the household item that you need to use. I picked a Nintendo. We put this out during E3, the competition idea. I am an old school Nintendo nerd, I guess you could say. I love old video games. It doesn't have to be a Nintendo. Let me just put this there. I put an old Nintendo system there. You have a Sega Genesis or Super NES or an older retro system lying around from collecting dust. Great, use it as a prop. If not, you can find them dirt cheap at just about every flea market, every used pawn store. You could find them everywhere. Online, eBay, tons of stuff. Craigslist, you don't have to pay too much for this prop, and you don't even have to get a working one. It just needs to be in the background. The line itself is I can't beat that fucking game, or I couldn't beat that fucking game. Please check the website. It's actually got it on the image. But it's a very easy thing to put forth, and if you want some background imagery, there are playthroughs for every video game ever known to man on YouTube. So please just go take that video, and you know how to edit, just throw it in the background. They have the music playing in the background. That you don't have to do very much else. But I would love to see, and I'm going to say right now, this does not at all influence how the judging would work on this, because it doesn't matter if you use it this way or not. But I'd love to see some Nintendo killing. If somebody wanted to use the system in some way or another, or somebody decided that they were really obsessed with video games. I mean, come up with your own ideas. The craft work of the actual film is what's going to matter the most. So I just don't want anybody to think that that's going to be somehow the influencing, deciding factor. But I'm just putting ideas out there. Come up with your own stuff. You're all very creative. I have seen some of the amazing short films that have been put forth on this channel. I am almost entirely certain that some amazing stuff can come of this. And remember, there are some great prizes, including that Three Corps Circus Film Festival spot. We're working on more than what we have right now, but we already have that. We have obviously our channel is going to promote the hell out of it, and then the combination of that with us teaming with you to build an Indiegogo and promote the hell out of that to get your feature-length film funded and off the ground. It's unbeatable. The combination no other film festival goes that far for anybody. No other film competition does, really. So to me, we don't have the big money to put up front, but we have a lot of muscle that we can put behind it promotionally using our marketing ability. So we really, as many of you that can get involved as possible would be fantastic. And you, the fans, you, the viewers, get a say. You're one of the voters on this panel. So I just wanted to put that out there and get that talked about. So here are the other main things, the main housekeeping announcements, I guess you could say. Big announcement number one, we are moving to a 7-day-a-week schedule. That's right. So Sundays, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Every day we will be on. We will be on a schedule that's based around the concept of 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. If there's, for some reason, technical difficulties or scheduling interferences, we'll announce that on our Facebook pages. We always do. There are going to be some days we're not on. I don't believe the 4th of July will be on. Just kind of throwing it out there. I know there's at least 2 days in August where we will not be in town. I'm sorry, there's going to be a couple days in August. August 8th through the 11th, and then Labor Day weekend. I'm not going to be in town. So in those cases, we'll be off. You'll get notices on the days we're off, but every other day we're going to be on now. What that means is that from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. I'm going to schedule a block. Now everything's going to repeat because at 2 a.m. We let it kind of flow back through again for our West Coast viewers who are just getting to see it for the first time. Since I'm on Eastern Time, 2 a.m. Eastern Time is only 11 p.m. West Coast time, so they'll have an opportunity to see what they've missed. Except for director's chats, unfortunately, which will always run around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So, they'll get to see the tail end of that unless they come a little earlier. But basically what it's going to do is it's going to open up a lot wider amount of slots throughout the week now that we're going to be on that much. Now, during this time, while we're filling slots and filling space, there will be a public domain film or two, thrown into the mix. But we do need new, fresh content. And that means I need everything I can get from anybody who's willing to promote this stuff and really be a part of this community. And that means feature-length films that we can air on a regular basis, short films, and we love short films. In fact, we showcase short horror films here, probably more than any other spot on the internet. If you have any original series, I do have to say that right now our Thursday night original programming block has kind of been busted up because we haven't gotten a lot of new programming, and I haven't heard anything back from a couple of the different show creators in a while. So we're still looking for more space to be filled, and every piece of work of art and content and film that we can get, we're going to try to put it into place. So I wanted to open that up, that now we're going to be 7 days a week. That starts tonight, obviously. Tonight is the first night, and Monday there'll be something playing. That's not usual. Tuesday there'll be something playing, etc. We're going to try to aim for 8 to 2 every single night. I'm going to have a playlist ready to go. I'm going to see if I can start announcing out schedules a little bit more in advance. The only problem with that is if we get new stuff, we want to kind of jump the queue a little bit on that, and not always be showing, the older stuff that you've seen several times because we've decided to fill out a whole month. I would like to get newer stuff in there a little quicker, so sometimes we'd like to have that flexibility. But again, get your material to us, contact us, every filmmaker out there. This is your place. It's a great way to build up an audience for your work, be a part of a independent horror film community that really appreciates what you're doing. Just really a great spot, and I think that having these extra slots is going to be helpful for that. So that's the first big announcement. 7 days a week, pretty big announcement. Friday nights, so to figure out this schedule a little bit, so I've got two other, announcements that are attached to this first announcement, and that's Friday nights. We're going to try to aim, obviously this isn't going to be every Friday night, but anytime you see a premiere here on independent horror, on indiehorror.tv, you're going to see it on a Friday night. Friday night will be our world premieres. So if we have a short film that we've never shown before, it will show up on Friday first. We have a feature-length film that hasn't shown here before, it'll show up on Friday first. So short films and feature-length films that we have not aired before are going to show up on Friday nights. Now, we're keeping our director's chats also for Friday nights, so they may also work in tandem with some of those world premieres. You may see a brand new movie, and then that director comes on after the movie because we feel that would be a really good combination. Friday night is going to be dedicated to our regular director's chats, with the rare exception of any director that just cannot do a Friday. So special announcements will go out for those other director's chats. But Friday night is going to be our world premiere night and our director's chats night. Here's how that's kind of a big deal, because we already have some films planned out for major Friday night world premieres. So, just to give you an idea, next Friday, The Muse by Rufus Chafee is going to make its debut here on, it'll be July 5th. It'll make its debut here on IndieHorror.tv. And as you're seeing tonight, 3 brand new movies. Dustin Mills, Zombie A-Hole, the Night of the Tentacles movie, and then, the other film that's going to be here tonight is Midsummer Nightmares, which Midsummer Nightmares 2 just met their funding goal on Indiegogo or the Indiegogo campaign. So that will be, we're hoping that one airs here too at some point, but we will have a director's chat with the director of Midsummer Nightmares at some point as well. But tonight alone, 3 major world premieres. The Muse, July 5th. Rufus Chafee, we're working on having a director's chat with him, hopefully that evening. The big announcement, though, I wanted to make, and this is, out of this, not to at all say anything about The Muse, but it hasn't been hyped as long. For us, I have been long talking about getting the movie Found on this channel. Since September, since I first saw it, I wanted this movie on our channel. Scott Shermer, the director of Found, is a really cool guy. They've run through a pretty strong festival circuit, and we can announce now officially that July 12th, Found will be aired here on IndieHorror.tv, followed immediately with a director's chat from Scott Shermer, the director of the movie. Let me just put it this way, Found is one of the best movies of the last year. As a horror fan, you do not want to miss this film. It's a film you'll be talking about for years. The best 2 movies, in my opinion, of the last year were Deadweight, which we happened to be lucky enough to show on our debut when we went live on November 1st, and Found. And we're finally going to get the chance to show you Found. We are ecstatic about this possibility. That is a world premiere we've been waiting to show you. It will only have 2 major appearances on IndieHorror.tv, the night of the 12th, and then July 26th. We'll be repeating it one more time. That's it. We only get 2 airings with Found, so I want you to make sure you do not miss that July 12th date. Mark it on your calendar, set off an alarm on your phone, prepare to light your house on fire. I don't know what it takes to get you actually to pay attention to things. Some people are more forgetful than others. So that's coming up. Also, I believe we have this planned out for September. Dustin Mills' next big feature release is called Kill That Bitch, and it is going to make its worldwide premiere here on IndieHorror.tv before it even hits DVD, before anybody else has even seen it. You will see it right here. We're going to do a little red carpet type of thing with Dustin on that night, so we'll get him in. Kill That Bitch makes its debut here on IndieHorror.tv. We're also going to be the first place you see the film Don't Go to the Reunion, which we're a small part in funding. We used some of those, some of that money I was talking about earlier went towards helping to film that. We're hoping to get Desecrated, which is a short film by Jennifer Lander, later in the year as well. At some point, that'd be great to be able to air that. I think that we gave a little bit of money to that too, so I think that that's another movie that we'll be showing here. So there's going to be some majorly cool world premieres on this channel. You need to stay tuned. And Friday, if you can't make it any other night of the week, make sure you're here on Friday nights. Now, that being said, also the calendar has one other date that we used to do director's chats on a regular basis, and that's Sundays. And coming up, starting, I believe, middle of July, we're working towards. I will be making a bigger announcement about this as we get it completely locked down. We're starting a Women of Horror panel director's chat type of thing. It's going to be more of an actor's chat than anything else. But we're going to try to get some of the bigger names, or some of the really active females in the horror genre, and we're going to get them in panels so that you can ask them in a director's chat format. We're going to have the chat room on the side. You get to ask the questions. We're going to give everybody the insight of knowing what it's like being, an actress, a female producer, female director. There's so many different people that have already stepped up and said that they're interested in being on the channel for this, and we'll start releasing names as we lock down dates. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be really, really fun, and I the plan is to actually take this every weekend if we can into October. I think that'd be so cool. We want to give women their due too. I feel like we've kind of been light on having them on the channel. Right now, Elska McCain is the only female that's ever made an appearance on any of our directors chats. So here's a good opportunity for us to really explore a few more really amazing women and get their stories. So we're going to keep working on the actual guest list. When that comes out, you'll be seeing a really big announcement about those panel directors chats, which you have the opportunity on a Sunday night to ask some female independent horror stars some great questions. So I think it's awesome. So that's all the schedule stuff. So let me kind of throw out some other stuff that really quickly needs to be talked about. Shar Harden runs a great podcast called Shard Remains. Shard Remains is it's kind of like, I would say it's a call-in, it's like a live call-in radio broadcast, and Shar always has some really amazing guests. She's made a lot of really great contacts in the horror world, and she's been able to bring them onto her show, promote their things, and be really, really conversational, and she's gotten a pretty solid following. So we've been really excited to kind of partner up with her and be friends with her, and we wanted to announce that starting probably in the next week, you're going to start being able to see her simulcast right here on IndieHorror.tv. That means every time she has a broadcast, we're going to bring her in through a Skype video call, put her on the channel, and you can call in, and it'll be direct to Shar's show the way that it actually runs right now. So, I mean, it's going to be so amazing. It's just like having her show that she has right now, but with a much wider ability to have an audience. She's going to be in front of the camera. You'll be able to interact with her directly. It's going to be so cool. It's very similar to how Howard Stern or Rush Limbaugh have their shows set up, but we're going to be able to bring her in, and I think that with her following, with her absolutely amazing guest list, and her charm and personality, I think she's going to bring so much to our channel. Some really cool original programming, and we feel very, very honored to be working with Shar Harden. So I wanted to kind of throw that out there. That is coming very, very soon. We're going to be doing tests, calls for it, I believe, on Sunday. And after the test roll, I believe, which I don't anticipate any issues with, we should be ready to start on her show as soon as next weekend. So it's something to really look forward to. It's completely aligned with the IndieHorror.tv message of really promoting horror in every possible way. So she does a great job of that. So even if you haven't participated on our broadcasting before, Shar is really a great advocate, and she's got now multiple platforms to help promote your work. So definitely get in touch with Shar. And I guess another thing that I really wanted to throw out there was, with the need for this extra content because of the extra days, I can only reach out to so many people and even respond to so many people at any given time. I've had some help in the past with, you might see him in the chat room as MSB, Mr. Skeeter Buster. His name is Kevin. Kevin has been absolutely fantastic with helping us acquire some additional content and show some stuff on the channel. But really, this is a multiple person job. There's no way I'm going to ever know everything that comes out, and it's very difficult even to go scour through YouTube to find some great horror series that are just kind of sitting on, like 50, 60 episodes sitting on YouTube in a channel somewhere. I don't even know sometimes if they exist. So in a similar vein, how we got people street teaming for us, we would really appreciate volunteers to step up and help direct content in our way, in our direction, and for you to become a part of the channel. That means not just watching the channel, but going out and helping us find and acquire content, contacting them on our behalf. We can't always do that. We don't have the time or ability to reach out to everybody, and really helping us bolster what we're showing. I mean, you get to be a part of that at that point. And everybody who helps us out will be absolutely treated with the utmost, excitement and enthusiasm here. We've been giving out T-shirts to people who have street team for us. I'm sure we could work out some sort of arrangement to do the same for you if you're able to do that kind of thing for us. Or, if there's something that you wanted to do, if you have a production idea you want to be a part of, we're open to everything. We don't say no very often to anything here. We air everything. We air every single idea. We try to play it out and see what people think of it. I don't say no to anybody because there are so many different tastes, so many different niche topics or thoughts in the horror genre that just saying no doesn't make any sense to me. So I want to put that out there. We're recruiting everybody we can. We want you to be a part of the IndieHorror.tv team and help us acquire more films, more directors, more actors, everybody that we can get involved. Help us get, you can do such a small thing by just sharing us on a regular basis on your Facebook feeds or on Twitter, by talking us up to any of your friends who also like horror. Let's help get the word out. If you go to a convention, talk to people about us. We can't do it all ourselves, but you can help us grow this community in an absolutely easy, amazing way. And finally, and I just wanted to throw this out there really quickly, but you're going to be seeing an announcement. As I said before, our anniversary is November 1st. On November 2nd, which I believe is that Saturday, we're planning to do a one-year anniversary party here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. What that entails is obviously we're going to do a giant party where we're renting a hall, showing independent horror films, including many of the ones that you're seeing here on our channel. I know Found is one of the ones we will be showing there live. There will be food, there will be drinks, all provided. There are going to be door prizes. There may be, we're debating the idea of a costume contest. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's something we're really working up to having a really amazingly fun live presence. We're not going to probably record it live, play it live on the channel because there's a lot of work involved with that, but we may record it and do a one-day delay and then play it the next day so that you can be a part of it and see what's going on. But we will be opening this up to the public. Anybody here that really is interested in going to an awesome independent horror party and wants to be fed and wants to drink and wants to enjoy independent horror, this is the place to be. So if you are even within somewhat driving distance of Ann Arbor, Michigan, have any interest, the date we're aiming for is November 2nd. So please get a hold of us on either Twitter or on the channel. You can find, or you can send us an email at info@indiehorror.tv. All of that will be directed to me, so I can answer that for you personally. And as we start getting a bigger guest list together, we want to get that as concrete as possible. Obviously, we're spending a decent amount of money. We want to make sure that the room is full. So as we get a little bit closer, you'll see more and more announcements about it. There will be an event created on Facebook. And we want everybody that can come to come because we want to make this thing as amazing as possible. We'll have to cap it at some point. Obviously, we're not going to be able to have everybody be there, but anybody that, if we can get as many of you out there that watch our channel there, it would be a great night for independent horror. So with that, I think that's a pretty good set of announcements. I think that covers everything. If you have any questions about anything else that I might have missed on IndieHorror.tv's future, I think, there's still some questions left about when the web redesign is coming. That's the perpetual web redesign that we started in February that's never seeming to finish. We're still not even in a good place as far as we could tell you with that, but I do want to make it as clear as day that we're going to continue, and we're going to continue to work hard, and we're going to keep trying to bring you the best in independent horror because we feel it's our duty to really show independent filmmakers that we're just as passionate about them as they are about their films. Somebody needs to do it, and somebody needs to show them that, and I feel that that is a good spot for us to be in. And I feel that the last year, even though we're not quite at the 1 year mark yet, but the last year has been a heck of a ride already. We've accomplished so much. We've had some great guests, some amazing films. I think we've spotlighted some short films that a lot of people might not have seen before and may have never seen without us, and we've given them a voice. And I feel we've done a lot of great things. And we couldn't have done any of it without those filmmakers and without you, our viewers. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you all. Thank you for joining us on this ride and being a part of our community. And please tell everybody you can and help us spread the word and talk to every director that you know. Go on YouTube if you find stuff that is really amazing. Send a note on our behalf. You know, anything you hear on those websites, those aggregate websites like Bloody Disgusting or Dread Central or Fangoria or whatever, if you find anything about any independent films that may not have Anchor Bay or somebody behind them, because that's not very independent, contact them. What can it hurt? If they say no, they can't, they can't. I mean, that's what we've learned in this experience. Big deal. So then you struck out. Luckily, nobody's counting your batting average, right? So with that, I say thank you again and bid you farewell. Enjoy Night of the Tentacles.